Fierce fighting in a border town in northeastern Syria sent about 8,000 people fleeing into neighboring Turkey over a 24-hour period, one of the largest single-day surges of refugees since the Syrian conflict began, officials said Friday. Driving the sudden exodus that began Thursday was intense fighting in the northeastern Syrian border city of Rafah, where rebels were reported to have seized security compounds and occupied much of the town. Panicked civilians fled en masse, dodging gunfire and shelling and in some cases struggling to get through barbed wire fences along the frontier. The situation dramatized again how Syria's escalating internal conflict is spilling over its borders, threatening to destabilize neighboring nations whose leaders are alarmed by the upheaval. Overall, about 11,000 refugees poured out of Syria in a 24-hour period beginning Thursday, the United Nations said Friday. Most were trying to escape the fighting in Rafah, but 1,000 fled into Turkey because of violence farther west, in Syria's Idlib province, and 2,000 crossed into Jordan and Lebanon, the UN said. Turkey is now sheltering more than 120,000 Syrian refugees, well beyond the 100,000 total that Ankara had said would be its limit. How far will this go? Asked the frustrated Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who was on a trip to Indonesia. His comments were reported on the website of the Turkish newspaper Today's Zaman. Turkish officials have lobbied, without success, for the establishment of an internationally protected buffer zone inside Syria where war refugees could find a haven. But the United States and other nations are hesitant to make the military commitment that would be essential to securing protected territory. Meanwhile, in the Persian Gulf nation of Qatar, Syria's best-known opposition group, the Syrian National Council, said it had elected veteran Christian dissident George Sabra as its president. The umbrella group, which critics say is dominated by the Islamist Muslim Brotherhood, is struggling to show that it is representative of Syria's minority communities, including Christians, Kurds and Alawites, the Shiite sect that includes President Bashar Assad and many of his top security chiefs. But U.S. officials have called for the sidelining of the Syrian National Council and the creation of a broader organization that could serve as an effective government in exile. Deep divisions have plagued the Syrian opposition, frustrating the U.S. and other nations pushing for a unified, coherent front against Assad. The border clash pushing thousands of Syrians into Turkey on Thursday and Friday took place in isolated Hazakat province, a relatively new front in the almost 20-month Syrian conflict. The province is home to the largest concentration of Syrian Kurds, who have had an uneasy relationship with the overwhelmingly Arab rebel forces seeking to overthrow Assad. The border city of Rafah, once home to more than 60,000 people, was said to be largely deserted Friday because of street fighting and shelling by government troops, who reportedly fled the center of town along with the residents. It is a ghost town, said an activist reached in the area. Reports indicated that rebels controlled much of Rafah, but military units based outside continued to lob shells into the city. Video posted online purported to show rebels raising the opposition tricolor atop a major security building in the center of town. Another video showed what appeared to be more than a dozen soldiers being held prisoner, apparently in the public building, as a rebel officer read to them from the Quran. Other reports indicated that a top provincial official may have been among those captured. The video images could not be independently verified, and casualty figures from the fighting were unclear. At least 20 soldiers were killed in the battle for Rafah, according to the British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the pro-opposition group. The Friday exodus was more than triple the usual 2,000 to 3,000 people escaping from Syria daily, said Sybilla Wilkes, spokeswoman for the UN Refugee Agency. Scores who fled were wounded and at least 2 died, she said. The numbers are increasing by the hour, Wilkes said. The Turkish government says it can't take weeks or even months to build a camp. But it can take only hours to fill them.